Hello, I'm Griffin Fidelio. The Dursleys were so mean, that hideous that summer, that all Harry Potter wanted was to get back to the Hogwarts school for witchcraft and wizardry. But just as he's packing his bags, Harry receives a warning from a strange, impish creature named Dobby, who says that if Harry Potter returns to Hogwarts, disaster will strike .L. And strike it does. For in Harry's second year at Hogwarts, fresh torments and horrors arise, including an outrageously stuck-up new professor, Gilderoy Lockhart, a spirit named Moaning Myrtle who haunts the girls' bathroom, and the unwanted attentions of Ron Weasley's younger sister, Ginny. But each of these seem minor annoyances when the real trouble begins, and someone or something starts turning Hogwarts students to stone. Could it be Draco Malfoy, a more poisonous rival than ever? Could it possibly be Hagrid, whose mysterious past is finally told? Or could it be the one everyone at Hogwarts most suspects, Harry Potter himself? I will provide you with a synopsis of this book. If you love this channel, please subscribe now. The Worst Birthday, Chapter 1. Harry Potter is back with his aunt and uncle for the summer holidays, which remain uneventful. The Dursleys treat him the same way as before, but they are careful, as they don't know he isn't allowed to use magic outside school. Harry is a bit disappointed as he hasn't received any letters from his friends, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. Uncle Vernon has locked Harry's owl, Hedwig, so he could not send letters to anyone. He is sad and lonely as it is his birthday. The Dursleys are having a dinner party for one of Vernon's biggest clients, and Harry is warned to stay in his room and pretend as if he doesn't exist. Harry is happy to spend time alone in his room, but when he enters, he finds someone is already there. Dobby's Warning. Chapter 2. It is a house elf who introduces himself as Dobby. He explains that house elves are supposed to serve a family until they set him free, but it seldom happens. He is honored to meet Harry, having heard tales about him defeating Voldemort, and is equally moved by his humble nature. He informs Harry about an impending danger at Hogwarts and warns him not to return. He then starts beating himself up very loudly to punish himself, saying he is not supposed to tell anything to Harry, since he would be betraying his masters by doing that. He also confesses that he had been stopping the letters written by Harry's friends from getting delivered, as he thought Harry wouldn't want to go back on, learning that his friends have forgotten him. When Harry refuses to give in to Dobby's requests, Dobby uses magic to drop the dish containing the pudding that Aunt Petunia had made for their guests. He says he is doing this to save Harry and disappears. The loud noise alerts the Dursleys, who get furious, and just when things couldn't get worse, an owl appears with a letter. This frightens the Dursleys' guests and they leave in a hurry. Uncle Vernon makes Harry read the letter loudly, which says that magic has been detected at the residence, and the Dursleys are delighted to know that underage wizards aren't allowed to use magic outside school. So they lock him up, saying they will never let him go back to Hogwarts. 3 days later, Harry finds Ron outside his window at night. The Burrow. Chapter 3. Ron and his twin brothers, Fred and George, rescue Harry in their father's flying car and take him to their house, the Burrow. On the way, Harry narrates the incident with Dobby, and they assume that he must belong to the Malfoys and that Draco Malfoy, who hates Harry, must have put Dobby up to it to play a prank on Harry. Their mother is furious and scolds them for risking their life and their father's job. However, she is very warm towards Harry. Their father, Arthur Weasley, who works in the Ministry of Magic, comes home and is delighted to meet Harry. He is excited to learn that the car he enchanted as an experiment worked absolutely fine, but pretends to scold his sons when he meets the angry stares of his wife. Ron's younger sister Ginny blushes every time she sees Harry. The Weasleys aren't rich and live on modest means. Ron is worried that his family's state might not meet Harry's expectations, but Harry finds everything perfect and is more than happy to live with the Weasleys, at Flourish and Blots. Chapter 4. Harry spends the rest of the holidays with the Weasleys and enjoys every moment of it. All of them, including Ginny, who is joining Hogwarts this year, receive their letter and the list of books. They decide to visit Diagon Alley to buy their school things, where they will also meet with Hermione and her parents. Harry mistakenly reaches Nocturne Alley while traveling through Floo Powder. Nocturne Alley is a place that deals with dark magic and sells dangerous objects. Harry finds Draco Malfoy and his father, Lucius Malfoy, in a shop and hides from them. He is later rescued by Hagrid, who takes him back to Diagon Alley, where he reunites with the Weasleys and Hermione. They all encounter the Malfoys at Flourish and Blotts, where they had gone to buy school books, and a fight ensues between Lucius Malfoy and Arthur Weasley when the former insults the latter. They stop when Hagrid intervenes. They also meet the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Gilderoy Lockhart, a famous narcissistic wizard who takes an instant liking to Harry. The Whomping Willow. Chapter 5. The rest of the holidays go by quickly and happily. On the day of returning to Hogwarts, Harry and Ron are unable to get past the barrier on platform 9 3/4 after everyone passes through. Confused, they decide to reach Hogwarts through Mr. Weasley's enchanted car. The journey goes smoothly, but just when they are about to land on Hogwarts ground, the engine of the car dies, and the car crashes into a tree. The tree turns out to be the Whomping Willow, which turns violent on being touched, and it starts attacking the car. After narrowly escaping the tree, the battered car disappears into the Forbidden Forest. Harry and Ron are reprimanded by Professors Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Snape, and they get detention as punishment. Gilderoy Lockhart. Chapter 6. Ron receives an angry letter from his mother the following morning at breakfast. She scolds him for stealing the car and putting his and Harry's lives in danger. They attend their first Defense Against the Dark Arts class with Professor Lockhart. His boastful and narcissist nature is evident from the fact that he made students buy all the books written by him about how he fought off different monsters in his life, and begins the class by giving a quiz to students about himself. Chaos ensues when he lets loose a group of pixies in the classroom for the students to catch. The spell he uses to catch the pixies fails, and he is left helpless. After the class gets over, he asks Harry, Ron, and Hermione to catch the pixies and leaves the room in a hurry. Harry and Ron begin to doubt his capabilities. Mudbloods and Murmurs. Chapter 7. The next day, the Gryffindor Quidditch team start practice early in the morning, but they encounter the Slytherin Quidditch team. They find that Draco, who has bought himself into the team by buying them new racing broomsticks, is their new seeker. Draco calls Hermione a mudblood, which angers Ron, but the spell he uses on Draco backfires because Ron's wand got damaged due to the beating received from the Whomping Willow. This results in Ron vomiting life slugs. Harry, Ron, and Hermione visit Hagrid, where Harry learns that mudblood means bad or impure blood, and it is a very nasty thing to say to someone who is Muggle-born. Harry also learns that the Malfoy family were supporters of Voldemort, but came back to the good side after his defeat, saying that he tricked them. However, most people don't trust them and believe they are waiting for Voldemort to gain power. Professor McGonagall informs Harry and Ron about their detentions. Harry has to help Professor Lockhart in answering his fan mail. Reluctantly, Harry gets to work with Lockhart in his office. But late into the night, he hears an unsettling whisper which is not heard by Lockhart. The Death Day Party. Chapter 8. Harry is rescued by nearly headless Nick, the ghost of Gryffindor's house, from Filch, who was trying to punish Harry unnecessarily for dirtying the castle floors. Nick invites Harry, Ron, and Hermione to his 500th Death Day party on Halloween, where they meet Peeves, the poltergeist, and Moaning Myrtle, a girl who haunts the girls' toilet on the first floor. After the party, the trio decides to return to the Great Hall to attend the Feast of Halloween, but on the way, Harry again hears that same unsettling whisper. He tries to make Ron and Hermione listen to it, but they hear nothing. The whisper seems to be coming from behind the wall. When it threatens to kill someone, Harry, with Ron and Hermione in tow, follow the voice. They find a message written on the wall of the castle. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware. A little distance ahead, they find a puddle of water on the floor and Filch's cat, Mrs. Norris, hanging by her tail from a torch bracket. She is stiff and looks as if she is made out of stone. Before the trio could move away, a crowd of students gathers and Draco Malfoy looks rather happy. The Writing on the Wall. Chapter 9. Filch accuses Harry of killing Mrs. Norris, but after examining her, Professor Dumbledore comes to the conclusion that she is not killed, but petrified. Filch still accuses Harry, but since the evidence is circumstantial, Dumbledore allows Harry to leave. Ron's sister, Ginny, who has a crush on Harry, is very upset about Mrs. Norris, and Ron tries to console her. In their History of Magic class, Hermione asks Professor Binns about the Chamber of Secrets. Professor Binns explains to the class that Hogwarts was built by Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. Slytherin wanted only wizard-born children to be given admission to Hogwarts to keep the bloodline pure. However, the rest of the founders were open to anyone showing magical abilities. Slytherin left the school after a heated argument with Gryffindor. It is said that Slytherin built a secret chamber at Hogwarts that can only be opened by its true heir, and there is a monster inside that will kill all Muggle-born students. However, Professor Binns rubbishes it as a myth. Harry, Ron, and Hermione investigate the area where Mrs. Norris was found and find spiders scurrying out of a window. Confused by this behavior, they realize they are outside the toilet that is haunted by Myrtle, but fails to get any information from her. They conclude that it must be Malfoy since he hates Muggles. They decide to find out using the Polyjuice Potion that can help them transform into any person. The Rogue Bludger. Chapter 10. Harry, Ron, and Hermione use Moaning Myrtle's washroom to understand how to make the potion. Hermione concludes that it is one of the most difficult potions to brew, but it can be made. The next day, during the Quidditch match between Gryffindor and Slytherin, a bludger, the ball used to knock players off their brooms, goes rogue and starts attacking Harry. Harry manages to catch the snitch and win the game for Gryffindor, but not before the bludger breaks Harry's elbow. Professor Lockhart accidentally removes all the bones from Harry's arm instead of mending them, and Harry is admitted to the hospital wing. Harry is visited by Dobby in the middle of the night, who reveals that he closed the barrier and bewitched the bludger to make Harry go home and to save him. Dobby also lets it slip that the Chamber of Secrets was opened before, but before he could say anything more, they hear footsteps and Dobby disappears. Professor Dumbledore and McGonagall enter the dormitory carrying Colin Creevey, a first-year student who idolizes and looks up to Harry. Colin is petrified looking through his camera. Harry hears Dumbledore telling McGonagall and Madame Pomfrey, the hospital warden, that the Chamber of Secrets is open again. The Dueling Club. Chapter 11. The next day, Harry leaves the hospital wing to find Ron and Hermione in Myrtle's washroom. Hermione has begun working on the Polyjuice Potion, but requires some essential ingredients that would only be available in Snape's office. Harry creates a diversion during potions class, which allows Hermione to sneak into Snape's office, collect the ingredients needed, and enter the class again undetected. Lockhart and Snape set up a dueling club to train students in defending themselves. When Malfoy attacks Harry with a snake, Harry unknowingly speaks Parseltongue, the language of the snakes, to fend off the snake. Since Salazar Slytherin was the only person who could talk to snakes, everyone assumes that Harry must be an heir of Slytherin and has opened the Chamber of Secrets to attack Muggle-born students. Harry is angry and confused when he hears these rumors. Everyone's suspicion gets stronger when Harry is found near a petrified Justin, a fellow Hufflepuff student, and Nick, the Gryffindor ghost. Professor McGonagall takes Harry to Dumbledore. The Polyjuice Potion. Chapter 12. While Harry waits for Dumbledore, he witnesses Dumbledore's pet, Fawkes, a phoenix, bursting into flames and taking birth again from the ashes. Dumbledore informs Harry that he doesn't believe the rumors of him being the attacker and asks if he wants to tell him anything, to which Harry refuses. Harry learns that Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle are staying back during the Christmas holiday. When the Polyjuice Potion gets ready, Harry and Ron turn into Malfoy's cronies, Goyle and Crabbe, respectively. Hermione decides to turn into Millicent Bulstrode, a Slytherin girl, but later refuses to leave the washroom and urges Harry and Ron to go. They enter the Slytherin common room with Draco, but are disappointed to learn that Draco doesn't know who the heir of Slytherin is. However, he does tell them that a student died when the chamber was opened, the last time almost 50 years ago, and whoever opened it was expelled. When the effect of the juice starts to wear off, Harry and Ron return to the washroom to find that Hermione has accidentally turned into a cat and take her to the hospital wing. A very secret diary. Chapter 13. Harry and Ron come across a diary in Myrtle's bathroom. TM Riddle is written in it, and Ron remembers polishing a trophy awarded to Tom Riddle 50 years ago for special services during his detention. Nothing is written in the diary and Ron deems it useless. However, Harry is successful in communicating with Riddle through the diary, and on seeing his memories, finds out that Riddle helped in catching the culprit who opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago. It was none other than Hagrid. Meanwhile, Harry receives a musical message on Valentine's Day from Ginny. Cornelius Fudge. Chapter 14. No attacks occur in the next 4 months, and everyone assumes that the attacker may have retired. Just when things start to get back to normal, someone steals Tom Riddle's diary from Harry's dormitory. The next day, right before Gryffindor and Hufflepuff's Quidditch match, Harry again hears the same whispers coming through the walls, and Hermione rushes off to the library. Before the match could start, McGonagall announces that the match is cancelled as there has been a double attack. Harry and Ron are devastated when they learn that Hermione and a fifth-year Ravenclaw girl are victims this time. They visit Hagrid, but before they could question him, Dumbledore enters Hagrid's house with Minister of Magic Cornelius Fudge and Lucius Malfoy, one of the governors of Hogwarts, while Harry and Ron hide under the invisibility cloak. Fudge wants Hagrid to be shifted to Azkaban for the time being, and Malfoy demands Dumbledore's resignation for his inability to stop the attacks. They all leave, but not before Dumbledore and Hagrid leave subtle clues for Harry and Ron. Aragog. Chapter 15. Harry decides to follow Hagrid's advice of following the spiders. He notices the spiders going towards the Forbidden Forest. So he and Ron take Fang, Hagrid's boarhound, with them. Inside the forest, they meet Aragog, a giant old spider who is Hagrid's friend. He recounts how Hagrid raised him in his cupboard away from everyone's eyes when he was a student at Hogwarts. When the attack started, everyone assumed it was Aragog, and he adamantly tells Harry and Ron that he never left Hagrid's cupboard and had no hand in the death of the girl found in the bathroom. Hagrid helped him escape, but was held responsible for the attacks and expelled. However, he kept visiting Aragog and helped him raise a family. When Harry and Ron are attacked by other younger, but equally enormous spiders, Mr. Weasley's car arrives out of nowhere and rescues Harry, Ron, and Fang. They reach their dormitory safely and are happy about the fact that Tom Riddle caught the wrong person and that Hagrid is innocent. They also conclude that the girl who died could be Myrtle. The Chamber of Secrets. Chapter 16. McGonagall, that the mandrakes that are being grown to cure the petrified people are almost ready. Ginny sits down next to Ron and is about to tell him something, but runs away when Percy arrives. Harry and Ron decide to visit Myrtle, but are intercepted by McGonagall. They lie that they sneaked out to visit Hermione, so McGonagall allows them to go to the hospital wing. Once there, Harry finds a piece of paper clutched in one of Hermione's hands. It turns out to be a page of a library book that has information about the Basilisk, an enormous snake, also known as the King of Serpents. It says that its fangs are venomous and its stare could kill. Spiders are scared of it, but it is vulnerable to a rooster's crowing. Harry is sure that the monster in the Chamber of Secret is a basilisk, and since all the victims saw it through something, they were petrified and not killed. They learn that Ginny is taken by the monster and decides to take Lockhart with them to the chamber. Lockhart reveals that he is a fraud and cannot help, but Harry disarms him and forces him to come with them. They reach Myrtle's bathroom, where she points them to the sink where she saw the monster. Harry opens the sink using Parseltongue. When they enter the chamber, Lockhart decides to take credit of the find and tries to erase Harry and Ron's memory using Ron's wand, but it backfires, causing the roof to collapse. Separated from Ron, Harry moves forward and enters the final chamber, the heir of Slytherin. Chapter 17. Harry enters the Chamber of Secrets and finds Ginny unconscious at the foot of a gigantic statue of Salazar Slytherin. Tom Riddle is also there and claims that he is the memory inside the diary and that Ginny has been talking to him all this while and made him powerful. He explains that he had possessed Ginny to open the chamber and to attack the students. He also reveals that he is indeed Lord Voldemort, heir of Salazar Slytherin. Tom summons the Basilisk to kill Harry, but just then, Fawkes appears with the sorting hat, which provides Harry with a sword. Fawkes blinds the Basilisk, and Harry manages to kill it with the sword. In the process, Harry gets poisoned by the Basilisk's fang, but he is saved by Fawkes' tears that have healing property. Harry then uses the fang to stab the diary, which gets destroyed along with Tom. Ginny wakes up and they reunite with Ron and Lockhart, who has lost his memories because of Ron's wand backfiring. Together, they exit the chamber and reach McGonagall's office. Dobby's reward. Chapter 18. Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are already present in McGonagall's office along with Dumbledore, and they are relieved to see all of them safe and sound. Harry narrates everything to them. After that, they take Ginny and Lockhart to the hospital wing, leaving only Harry and Dumbledore. Dumbledore explains to Harry that Voldemort may have transferred some of his powers to him when he tried to kill him, because of which Harry can speak Parseltongue. Dumbledore also assures Harry that only a true Gryffindor could have pulled out the sword of Gryffindor from the Sorting Hat, thus quashing Harry's fear of being the heir of Slytherin. Lucius Malfoy appears with Dobby, asking why Dumbledore has returned, to which Dumbledore replies that the other governors approached him after Ginny got kidnapped and told him that Malfoy had threatened them to sign the petition suspending Dumbledore and that they wanted him back at Hogwarts. After understanding Dobby's hints, Harry confronts Lucius about him secretly slipping the diary among Ginny's things when they met before in Diagon Alley. Later, Harry helps Dobby gain his freedom after Malfoy accidentally gives Dobby a soiled sock given by Harry. All petrified students are cured and the exams get cancelled for the term. Gryffindor wins the House Cup and Harry and Ron receive an award for special services to school. Hagrid returns in the middle of the night and Lucius Malfoy loses his position as one of the governors of Hogwarts. Lockhart also is relieved of his duty as Hogwarts teacher. Harry returns to Privet Drive for summer. When you are unable to look at your screen or have full hands, my voice will accompany your activity. Jump to the book's synopsis below. Bye-bye. J.K. Rowling is the author of the enduringly popular era-defining Harry Potter book series, as well as several standalone novels for adults and children, and a best-selling crime fiction series written under the pen name Robert Galbraith. The Harry Potter books have now sold over 600 million copies worldwide, been translated into 85 languages, and made into 8 blockbuster films. They continue to be discovered and loved by new generations of readers.